What's going on, everybody? My name is Mark Akins, Mr. Challenge Your Perception, and I'm here again with another episode of A Little Something for Your Sundays, brought to you by Gratifying Expressions. Here at Gratifying Expressions, we believe that everyone has a right to express themselves. Just do it in a way that makes others grateful that you did. Let's jump right into it. So I'm here today with another one of my famous quotes. And the quote I have for you today is something that is extremely important for your personal life, for your professional life. Matter of fact, even your physical life, just your physicality. No matter what you're going to do, this is going to make sense to you in some way, shape, or fashion. So I'm excited to get into this one. No one gave trees permission to grow. No one, okay, gave trees permission to grow. This is a big, big deal because often in life, we think of all the things that have held us back or in our minds that has held us back. And so it's almost as if you don't have to have permission to allow something to stop you or to hold you back, but you act as if you need permission or an extra nudge or boost to move forward. And I'm here to tell you that you don't. You do not need permission to grow and develop and move forward in life. And so we're going to go over a few aspects of this. And hopefully at the end of the episode, you will no longer need permission from anyone else in this world besides you to put your foot on the pedal and go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mark Akins, Mr. Challenge Your Perception. I'm here today to talk to you all about two books that I have put together. My latest creation, 111 Quotes to Challenge Your Perception. It's going to be available on Amazon.com. And while you're on there, you might want to also take a look at Challenge Your Perception of Cold Calling, one of my famous books here. And if you're going to get into sales, or if you know someone who's in sales, or if you have someone whose success is being held ransom by anxiety, this is the book for you. Ladies and gentlemen, these are available on Amazon.com. Again, my name is Mark Akins, Mr. Challenge Your Perception, and I hope to hear from you soon. Now, this one is pretty important right here. No one gave trees permission to grow, right? So when you share your ideas, are you sharing your ideas because you are telling people or because you are asking people what they truly think you are capable of, or if this is a good idea? So this is extremely important because often whenever we have big ideas, or maybe not even you consider it being a big idea, but you consider it being a great idea for whatever reason, we like to share it. There's nothing wrong with sharing your idea. And you should know before you share it if whom you're sharing it with will actually care at all. But sometimes you don't know. Maybe you just have to mental straight, right? Maybe you just need to get it out of your head. And so when you go and you say, hey, Kelly, I've been thinking about opening up a new cookie place. And so when you're saying that, are you questioning if your thinking is valid, or are you telling her, this is what I'm going to do because this was my idea? You almost allow permission for restriction, even though you don't even need permission to grow. Because depending on how Kelly feels that day, this may not have anything to do with you. Because often people will project onto you their fears, disappointments, upsets, and shortcomings. And because they believe you are going to experience the same thing, they're going to throw up all over you. You know, this is a terrible idea. Have you done this? Have you done that? Have you thought about this? But you also have to know the difference between someone who is really making sure your ducks are in a row, or someone who's being a bit condescending about your ability to be able to do this. And so there's a huge difference. And I'll tell you, so I'm a member of 100 Black Men of Metropolitan Houston, so shout out to the 100. And so we're talking about this Lemonade Day prep stuff. And so one of the kids, because entrepreneurship is a big thing, and it's important to know that if you're going to be a true entrepreneur, that you're not just looking to own a job. Okay, you don't. Everyone says I want to work for myself, but why do you want to go from working for someone else to working for yourself instead of creating an entity that's going to be able to run while you step back? And so we'll get into that on a total different episode. But while we're talking about entrepreneurship, you had a young man who had a great idea. And so I can see that when the brothers started chiming in about some of the things that we know that he would have to have in order, he kind of backpedaled. And I had to tell him, don't think just because we're making sure that you have everything aligned that we're telling you this is not a good idea. Because if you're going to look for someone to invest in this, and he's talking about sponsors and everything, they're going to ask you these questions because they're not going to waste their time with giving their money and attention and putting their brand on the line when someone doesn't have everything all the way together. And so I say that there is a difference. Now, you usually know when you're talking to a hater, so don't let anyone crush your dreams. No one has permission to crush your dreams because no one has to give you permission to dream. And no one can tell you that you must not do this because no one can tell you that you must do this. No one gives the trees permission to grow. You are a tree, and trees grow to their fullest potential. It's almost as if once a tree hits the soil, they believe that as long as they are alive, they can get bigger, taller, and stronger. So you have to look at your goals and aspirations the same exact way. Learn from the trees. Okay, here's another good one. If you want to do something that has never been done, don't expect others to share your vision. This is so important, and it ties right into the first one. When you're sharing your ideas, are you 100% telling just to share, or are you telling to find out if you should do it or if you're capable of doing it? So when we talk about don't expect someone to share your vision. If you're going to do something that has never been done, I'll give you a clear example that no one should be able to misconstrue. Imagine the first person to talk about inventing a cell phone. Think about when the first person went around even saying that this was possible. It takes imagination. So I tell people sometimes you have 7 senses. Okay, we know the first 5. And I say that the next 2 are intuition and imagination. And so you can't ever expect someone to share in your beautiful imagination, in this wonderful, powerful mind that God has blessed you with, and think that every time you see something a certain way, that they're going to see it that way. So a powerful imagination backed by a burning desire will take what's in here and start to bring it out, to verbalize it, maybe even materialize it in some type of way so that others may now be able to see your vision. And sometimes it could just be talking it out, mental straight, right? Get it out, talk it out, write it out. Once you're able to act it out, once you're able to do that, you are the presenter. It's like creating a television show, right? And you're the producer, and you have to get the cast together, and you have to have camera. God has already given you something that no one else knows is in there. And it's your job to get it out there. It's your job to be able to put this show together and then bring it back to God and say, here, look what I've done. So I want you guys to remember that if you are going to do anything that has never been done, do not expect others to share your vision or imagination. This does not mean that they're necessarily hating on you or putting you down, but some people just can't see in your mind. Have you ever had someone tell you, oh, I can't read your mind. How was I supposed to know that? Well, if they can't read it, of course they can't see in there. So give yourself a break, give other people a break, and make sure that if you truly care about your progression and your growth within life, within relationships, within your career, no one needs to give you permission to grow. And since you don't need permission to grow, no one can and should ever be allowed to give you permission to stop. I appreciate y'all for sticking around. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share it with somebody who's going to care. And if you want to comment to me directly, you can go to cypcomments@gmail.com. Again, that's cypcomments with an S at gmail.com. I'm Mark Akins. This has been a little something for your Sundays, brought to you by Gratifying Expressions.